Jesus claimed to be that truth, period. The one truth. In John 14, I'm going to read 14 verses, so I'm just going to run through it. But John 14, here's where he lays it all out and kills the whole idea that we can just have, believe what you want to believe, and I'm not going to offend you, you don't offend me, we'll just coexist, and butterflies and roses. And here Jesus says in John 14, he says, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I'm going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you may be where I am. You know the way to where I'm going." And Thomas said to him, "Lord, we don't know where you're going, so how can we know the way?" Jesus answered, "I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life, and no one will come to the Father except through me. If you really know me, you will know my Father as well. From now on, you do know him, and you've seen him." Philip said, "Lord, just show us the Father, and that'll be enough for us." And Jesus answered, "You don't know me, Philip? Even after I've been with you all this time? Anyone who's seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, 'Show us the Father'? Don't you believe that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me? The words I say to you, I don't say on my own authority. Rather, it is the Father who is living in me who is doing this work among you. Believe me when I say that I am in the Father and the Father is in me, or at least believe on the evidence of the works themselves. Very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works that I've been doing, and they will do even greater things than these. Because I am going to the Father, I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified through me. You may ask for anything in my name, and I will give it to you. I will do it." The coexistence idea, or the idea that whatever you want to believe, it's all good for you, there's no absolute truth, we can never know, that whole idea is an idea that says Jesus was a good man, a good teacher. No one across the board really disputes that. I mean, he's lived a revolutionary life that has rocked all of humanity. But the opposing view would be he was just a good man. He was a good teacher. He taught some tight principles, and there's things we can learn from him. We don't have that option. You know what I'm saying? Jesus says here's the deal. I am the way, the only truth, and the only life on this earth, and no one will transcend this earth unless they do it directly through me, flat out. And so a good man doesn't say that if he's lying. And so we're only left three options. He's either a flat-out liar, he's a lunatic who's just running around saying, I am God and God is in me. He's either a liar, a lunatic, or he is truly the Lord of all creation, was who he says he was, and can bring us where he says he can bring us. We only have those three options. So anyone who says, hey, he was just a good guy, good teacher, he wasn't. If he's lying there, he's leading nations of people to follow him. Hundreds of millions of people throughout history have followed this man. If he's lying, he's a liar. He's not a good man. We only have those three choices: a liar, a lunatic, or what I've come to know him as, the Lord of my life, through evidence. He even says in this passage, he says, even if you don't believe what I'm saying, look at what I've done. And I can do that in my life. I can look and say, man, and there's some arguments, that people, the world will always come up with confounding arguments, discussion topics that we can talk about that are, mysterious and I don't have all the answers for, but at the end of the day, it's like, all right, okay, I understand what you're saying. He radically transformed me in a moment. What am I supposed to do with that? Just look at what he's done in your life, and we can say he's not a liar, he's not a lunatic, because hundreds of millions of people throughout the world don't have a simultaneous hallucination that Jesus changed their life and they get up, change people. It doesn't happen. And so therefore, we're left with the reality that this man was who he says he was, the Lord, and is the only way and the only truth and the only life that we have in this world. There's uniformity in creation, so there is one truth. Jesus claimed to be that truth. We either run with that and let everyone know in the world in as loving a way as possible that, hey man, I found it. I found a brighter way. I found the only truth. I found a flat out better life that he's produced in my life. And I need you to know this and see it through my life. We could talk all we want to talk. If he doesn't change our hearts fundamentally as people, It's just talk. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not a better man than I was in 97, who cares what I'm up here talking about? It's all the same. But when he produces it in our life, I can point to it. I can say, you know what, dude? Forget what I'm saying. Just look at my life. 2013 compared to 2005. Believe based on what he's done in my life. Believe based on the works rather than even what I'm saying. And it is so hard for the world to accept that reality, and it's so politically incorrect to say he's the only way, because that means that I say I have the truth and I say everyone else is wrong. And that sounds like a pretty self-centered type of deal, right? But there's a fundamental reason why people will put their trust in anything the world has to offer. All those things that you see up there, other than the tea, all those things there's a reason why it's so hard to put our faith in the one and only truth. And the reason is he's the only one that commands every single detail of our life, not a part of it. Not like, hey, once in a while you play with these tarot cards and then you can go live as you want to live the rest of the week. Or not just a little portion of your life. Or it's not self-serving, a Mormonism where, you know, a guy went into a trance. Imagine this. A man, it goes into a trance, he comes out of it and he says, God told me that I can have 7 wives. That seems pretty, you know, man, I think we've all had that trance before, right? But just these things are founded on faulty ground. You know what I'm saying? It's so hard to accept the one truth because he's the only one that says, die and let me live through you. Give your life to me. That's what we say. We give our life to Christ, right? It is very hard for me to, and it was hard for me to say, I quit. I can't do this on my own. I now give you my life. That's a very hard thing to do. And so we do want to coexist in the sense of living the love that Jesus showed to all people, regardless of faith. But that doesn't mean that we just keep quiet about the fact that Jesus is who he said he was.